Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and if you want to know how bad the state of journalism is right about now, let me put it to you this way. The Trump administration is in its infancy. It's barely a week old into round two for Donald Trump, and yet the media is desperate to find anything wrong with the current status quo. They jump on this one story that still hasn't been fully verified, and this reporter thinks that she has Tom Homan caught between a rock and a hard place. What she forgets, though, is that Tom Homan is used to this just insanity that we currently call, reporting, and reminds people that modern reporters, well, let's just say we don't hate journalists enough. Let's dive in.
You treating migrants humanely?
Yes.
But there's been reports of them on planes with no water,
That was a bunch of
complaining.
crap. That was a bunch of crap.
What do you mean a bunch of crap?
ICE detention facilities have the highest detention standards in the industry. Any of the ICE standards, our detention standards are higher than any state or federal or local facility in the nation, in the world. Someone should go to the ICE website, look at PBNDS 11, performance-based detention standards, and look at our detention standards, highest in the industry.
But are you sure you're only getting illegal criminal migrants? I mean, there were some pictures over the weekend of people that claim to be students, Brazilian students, who were showing examples of bruises on their arms from American deportation flights.
That's ridiculous, but if they want to make a complaint, it'll be investigated.
But your assurance is what?
The men and women at ICE are professionals. We do this for a living. And I can tell you, I ran ICE for years. I was the first director of ICE came up through the ranks. Again, these men and women are professional, highest detention standards in the industry. We take care of these people. But we're going to enforce the law, and we're not going to apologize for doing it.
And you're going to do it in a sort of public way with, do you need to use the big military planes? Is that part of a sort of shock and awe tactic?
No.
They haven't been used before, have they, for migrants?
No, we got President Trump. We're going to use all the government to secure our border, which is the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. And we're going to enforce laws to this country. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's a crime. And when you cause a crisis as big as the Biden administration caused, when you overwhelm the Border Patrol, but they can't do their national security job, that's when the fentanyl come across, kill 250,000 Americans. That's when you have a 600% increase in sex trafficking. That's when you have a record number of no-inspected terrorists coming across an open border. President Trump's going to secure the border as promised to the American people. We're going to enforce immigration laws. That's what we're going to do, without apology. We're on board. We're going to go forward. And you're going to see it get a hell of a lot bigger in the near future.
Did y'all catch that? Did y'all see what just happened here? Okay, so this reporter first talks about, well, we've been getting reports over the weekend that you have been mistreating migrants. What do you have to say about that? Maybe if she was a good reporter, she'd go on location, actually talk to the agents, actually talk to the people that received the migrants, maybe even talk to some of the folks in Brazil who actually oversaw the return of these people who were being deported as per a 2017 treaty. But no, she didn't care about that. She wanted to catch Tom Homan in a gotcha moment, and he's not going to give her that satisfaction. He's going to remind her what their standards actually are when it came to the detention centers, which he was kind of admitting that he didn't know what was going on either. But ultimately what he's saying is, look, here's our standards. If you have a problem, go see these people, go talk to our department, or maybe just go there yourself. That is supposedly the job of a journalist, to uncover the truth. So I can't stand it when I see people trying to corner politicians. Oh, can you weigh in on this issue? Doing so would actually decrease my leverage. So no, why don't you figure it out? Why don't you talk to my staffers? Why don't you talk to people who are actually on the Hill, whose job it is to see this kind of stuff through? Maybe if you were an actual reporter instead of a headline ambulance chaser, ironic given that there was a siren going on in the background, maybe if you weren't an ambulance chaser, you would actually be capable of getting to the truth. But that's not what the mainstream media and most media in general does. They want the headline to rope you in, and then once you're roped in, they can keep on feeding you what the actual story is, even though it was your outrage that came there in the first place, and they're gambling that your anger is willing to look over the paragraph 7, buried deep in the story, basically says that the above headline is completely incorrect. And that's sort of the state of journalism. That's what happens time and time again, and I'm sick of it. I don't like internet clickbait. There's a reason I hated BuzzFeed before it was cool, okay? I was in college right when BuzzFeed was getting hot, and I absolutely hated The stupid, insipid stories and quizzes that were basically used to reel you in and then steal your information. That's the whole point of those BuzzFeed quizzes. I hated them then, and I hated them now. Okay? And there's a reason that they've kind of gone under because, well, we got out of college and realized, oh, we don't have time for this insipid nonsense. And that's what the majority of media is. Insipid nonsense. Instead of asking Tom Homan, what happened with these 88 deportees going back home to Brazil? Something failed in your aircraft. Can you weigh in on that? No, she doesn't talk about that and immediately has to be moved to another issue. And so when she's not getting the answer she wants, she asks a different question in the same ballpark. This is called moving the goalposts, and it is, in my opinion, the most cowardly thing you can do in a debate, in an online discussion, or when you are asking someone some fairly important questions. Because if I was a journalist, I'd be asking specifically, hey, there was a problem with your flights going to Brazil. What happened there? I would be specific. I would want him to actually answer the question, but that's not what she wants. She moves off to another topic in hopes that she can get another gotcha moment. That's what this is. And I sound like a broken record, but I'm trying to make the only point here that is to be made, and it's not the fact that, well, remember, Obama built some cages too. That's not the point. The point is, this journalist is trying her best to make her mark, to make her name noticeable, and to get rich white liberals to keep subscribing to her content, instead of asking actual legitimate questions that deal with the actual problem that she was talking about to begin with. This is just vile yellow journalism, and the only good place for this kind of journalism, let's be honest, is in the recycling bin. Remember the yellow pages? Eventually you had to get rid of that because it was just of no use anymore. This kind of journalism is of no use to an actual democracy. Because if you want to say that democracy dies in darkness, then don't hide it behind a paywall, Washington Post. We deserve better from our journalists. We deserve an actual answer to the actual questions. And the question wasn't even properly asked here. This is like going into the SAT and expecting a perfect score when all you did was doodle in your answers. That's what's going on here. And then these rich white liberals who, for some reason, keep watching MSNBC, CNN, and think that the New York Times is telling them the actual truth. Give me a break. Americans deserve better than this kind of gotcha, aha moment of journalism. We deserve actual answers. We deserve good questions. We deserve good reporting. I hope I brought that for you here on Politburo today. And if you think that there's more to the story, let me know in the comments below. I kind of want to get to the bottom of this story too. Because if people are being deported and people are actually caring about that, then, well, maybe we should be asking why they're being deported to begin with. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politburo. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.